everybody. Welcome back from your holiday break. We are live at 5. I'm Beth Stevens.
I'm Paul Wontorek. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good.
We didn't even talk about Thanksgiving.
Well,
it's
let's
5
do it
o'clock
now.
and we haven't even spoken.
Now's the time.
Are you on a diet now? I am.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Who's here today? We have a great guest.
We have stage legend, 2-time Tony nominee, Mary Testa of the Portuguese
Awesome.
Kid.
We love Mary Testa.
We love Mary Testa.
You
I'm
always
very
know when
excited.
Mary Testa's on stage, you're in for a show.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you how much I love that Oklahoma she was in?
Yes,
Mary,
you
we
did.
have to talk about that. I want that Oklahoma to come to New York. I want that to happen.
She's
anyway,
working right now.
It was like
Okay,
this
that's
crazy. She was like making cornbread. It's just crazy environmental production. I loved it. Anyway,
But we have news.
we have news. You start.
Okay. Bruce, there's only one Bruce, the boss, is staying for a longer period of time on Broadway.
Like a lot longer.
Right,
Like,
so Bruce Springsteen
most
is
people
on
extend
Broadway.
for like a week at a time.
He's the boss.
It's like 4 months.
Right, 4 months. So he's now, so the original closing date was yesterday, but that's not enough for him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to extend to June
Well, it was already extended through
30th.
February.
Can you
was
believe
already-
that?
it
It was
was
already
through
extended once,
February,
that's right.
and now-
June 30th. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll get to see it. He's at the Walter Kerr Theater. Go see it.
It's a big block. It's a big Broadway blockbuster. We didn't
Broadway
expect that.
blockbuster.
Are they going
Bruce
to figure out a way to
Springsteen.
give him like a special Tony or something?
Maybe he could host?
That doesn't seem like.
No, he's more of a musical guest than a host.
Remember when they made a movie of Beauty and the Beast? The live action one?
yes,
It was like
I
last
do
year,
remember that.
wasn't it? You know, fun fact, it's the most successful movie musical in the history of Hollywood.
Really?
Did you know that?
I did not.
It
I
made
thought that
over
was
$1
Frozen.
billion
Whoa.
worldwide.
Wow.
What other movie? Well, you know the answer. Number 2, these are the answers.
Oh.
Number 2 is Grease. Number 3 is Chicago. Number 4 is La La Land, and number 5 is Les Mis.
So we're not counting Frozen.
These are movie musicals. I don't
Not
know why you think
animated
Frozen's
films.
bigger than some of those. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I got it from Box Office Mojo. It's a very reliable site. Anyway, people love the movie. They're making all sorts of other live action based on the animated movie
Lion King.
musicals now. So it's coming back. They're bringing it back December 1st for a 1-week run in LA and New York, AMC Century Center, Century City in Los Angeles, and AMC Empire 25 on 42nd Street in New York, starting December 1st. Bill Condon directed it, of
Right.
course. You know,
Big
Emma
names.
Watson, Dan Stevens, blah, blah, blah. You know.
Blah,
you
blah,
know
blah.
it.
Blah,
you
blah,
know
blah.
it. It's also available on Netflix.
Audrey McDonald.
But it's great in a theater because it's a big movie.
It's a big deal. Okay.
And Audrey McDonald, hello.
I just said Audrey
Yeah,
McDonald.
I'm sorry.
That's a
Sorry.
very important person to mention, especially when Mary Testa's in the room. Okay.
She knows Audrey McDonald.
I know.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. We all know Audrey McDonald. Okay, listen. Schoolgirls or the African Mean Girls play, not Mean Girls. That's a different thing. This
That's
is the
next year.
That's next year. The African Mean Girls play. This is by Jocelyn Bio, very talented woman. She's an actor and a playwright. This is extended, but like you said, in a normal way. They've
Not 4
added
months?
2 weeks, right? They've added 2 weeks to December 23rd at the Lucille Lortel. And this is of course directed by Rebecca Teichman, who won a Tony Award last year.
I wish it was on the same time as Mean Girls, though. It'd be so great if
Like
you could
in
choose
Rep?
between the African Mean Girls or Mean Girls.
Maybe it'll come to Broadway.
maybe.
This is a play, but there
Are you
is a
saying
Queen
plays
Bee.
don't go to Broadway, Beth?
No, I didn't mean it that way. I just meant it's different. It's different than Mean Girls,
Yeah, it's totally different.
but also a big success.
Remember how they were supposed to do Crazy for You? You know, no one was. I was like a month ago. I remember thinking, no one's talking about this Crazy for You. Susan Stroman was supposed to bring back Crazy for You. They were going to do it in L.A. They had the theater booked, the Amundsen, starting like in February, and now it's postponed because I was like, why haven't we heard about casting? You know, because Laura Ossis and Tony Yazbek did that concert.
Right.
Virgin Stroman also did, so I wondered if they would be in it. Anyway, it's not happening. It's totally postponed. It's off the schedule. They're going to announce another show for the Amundsen subscribers.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's a
it'll come
bummer.
back at some point, but for right now, no more Crazy for You.
You look so sad. I'm sorry for you. Hey, I've got some news out of London. This is actually really fun. So Michael Grandage is bringing back Red. This is a great play.
Yeah.
With Alfred Molina, who was the original star of Red.
So it's like when Glenn Close did Sunset Boulevard again.
Sort of?
Sure.
I guess.
Just say yes.
Oh, sure.
Sure.
I don't know if it's reimagined like that.
Sure.
So he's joined by Alfred Enoch of How to Get Away with Murder fame. It's
Imagine Mary Testa as Norma Desmond.
yeah.
I'd be into that.
I mean, yes,
I'd be
I
into
can
that. I'm
actually.
into
That
that.
would be amazing.
I know. I'm
Please
sorry.
sing that
I know I
music.
distracted
Mary
you for the
Testa.
rest of the show.
Now I can't think. Let me get back to Red. So it was originally Eddie Redmayne. Remember that one?
Yeah,
Okay, so
he's
he
a
won
big
a
star
Tony
now.
Award. Big star.
He was nobody when he came here to do this.
He was a fresh face.
Yes, he was.
I'll tell you that story later. So this is from May 4th to July 28th at the Wyndham Theatre in London. And they're also bringing back The Lieutenant of Inishmore. Big favorite, very bloody, very funny. That's with Aidan Turner from June 23rd to September 8th
That's
at the
Martin
Mill
McDonough,
Tower Theater.
right.
That's Martin McDonough.
Right.
That's
Right.
why it's so bloody and funny, Martin
Right.
McDonough. That's his shtick.
Right.
Yes.
Also on the site, we have great a lot of stuff went up over the holidays, and I want to make sure you saw it. Great backstage photos at Beautiful. John McCrea, who everyone's talking about, right? He's a star. Everyone's talking about Jamie, which is
Yes.
a big hit
New
in
musical.
London. He's like a drag
He's
queen,
like
right?
a 16-year-old drag queen, yeah.
Ah, I love it. So everyone's talking about John McCrea, so we have an interview with him. You guys picked your favorite gift ideas for the year for Broadway fans. You could see the results. Jen Colella was on Side by Side by Susan Blackwell. There's a holiday episode of the Broadway.com show where we went through all the sort of great holiday-themed things that are happening right
And
now,
Beth Doyle
including
sang.
Beth Level as Miss Hannigan and Annie, which I
So
heard
funny.
is amazing, which opened last night at Paper Mill. And the first episode, I'm sure you saw Haley Kilgore on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, the star of Once in This Island. And the same day, the first episode of her Broadway.com vlog called
One Small Girl.
premiered. So you can check that out too, and over the next 8 weeks. That's it. I'm going to go.
Don't go away, though. You can
No,
go
don't
away.
go anywhere. I'm going to go.
Because we will be right back with Mary Testa.
On the outside, always looking in. Will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window.
These artists will come together for only one thing. It's not a concert. It's not an award show. It's SpongeBob the Musical on Broadway.
Ben Brantley of the New York Times calls The Book of Mormon the best musical of this century. This was my 4th time seeing it, and they still had me at hello. Winner of 9 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. The Book of Mormon on Broadway.
Welcome back to Live at 5. I'm Beth Stevens, and I'm so excited because I'm here with one of my favorite Broadway stars, Mary Testa, who's now starring off Broadway.
Thank
Yes, give her a round of
Thunderous applause.
Thunderous applause.
All 2 of you.
It's a small studio. Now starring in The Portuguese Kid at MTC, John Patrick Shanley directed and wrote this play.
Yes.
I was looking up some of your reviews for this play.
Oh, don't tell me.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you just about you. Breathes fire. Cantankerous.
Yeah, well.
So let's talk about the Portuguese
Okay.
Kid. Now that we've really
I don't read
gotten excited.
reviews. I don't read reviews because it's upsetting.
It's a lot of information you don't need
It's
to have.
stuff you don't need to have in your head.
Yeah. But this is a great show. It's been extended.
Yes, we go till December 10th.
You have a great cast. Jason Alexander.
fantastic
Sherry
cast.
Renee Scott.
Catch, I just said.
It's a
Because
great
I'm tired. It's
catch.
my day off. It's a great catch. It's Sherry Renee Scott, Amy Carrero, Pico Alexander, and of course Jason Alexander.
No relation.
No relation.
And you play Mrs. Dragonetti.
I am actually, in actuality, 4 years older than Jason, and I play his mother. And the other
Wow.
night when we were collecting for Broadway Cares, Jason said, you know, Mary's younger than I am. You know, he's trying to be nice. And I said, actually, welcome to character actor land. Yeah, it makes no sense, but, you know, it is what it is.
But you're getting to really, first of all, you're like the mother-in-law from hell in this show.
Well, I guess, you know.
One way to look at it.
I have a line in the show that the audience literally gasps at sometimes. And even when we were in rehearsal, I'm going to say the line. She says, you're the absolute worst child, you're the worst possible child I could have given birth to. And the audience gasps. And to me, it's a very loving thing to say because this character, this woman, is damaged.
Yes.
And so when she says that to her son, it's loving because she's like, it's too bad that I had you. You want love, and I'm not capable of it. Or
I love that you found a way into this to make it so human.
And let me tell you something. As soon as I read that, I knew what it was. But everybody else assumes that she's just being horrible. But I don't think she is.
But she also has a lot of zingers. That I
She
guess could be
does.
called a zinger.
Well, she's described in the script, which is so delightful and soul-crushing, as a pugnacious battle axe.
I love that you say that that's delightful and soul crushing.
Yeah. Well, because they're like, you are perfect for this role. It's like, thanks, thank you so much.
It's just what you always wanted to hear.
Yeah, it always is. It's always slightly soul crushing when you're a character actor. Sometimes, like the roles that they say, "My God, you're perfect for this." Thank you, bridge gnome, bridge troll. You're perfect.
But do you think you've been a character actor for a long time?
I know I've been a character actor for a long time. I think in my head as that I'm a leading person because that's I think I am. But in actuality, the lead roles go to different kinds of people. So I am a character. I've been a character since. I mean, I moved to New York when I was 21 and started working, and I was constantly up against women in their 40s for roles. So yes, I've been a character actress for a very long time.
So when you first moved to New York, where did you move from? From
Rhode
Philly?
Island.
Oh, Rhode Island. You have, of course, worked with some wonderful composers.
I have.
You have a long history with William Finn.
Yes.
Can we talk a little bit about
Sure.
that? What was that like when you were in Trousers?
Well, I met Bill when I was 19, and I was in college, and he was hired to do a show at our theater, at our college, and he picked me out of a lot of people. And so I met him when I was 19. So he is really kind of like family to me because I've known him for so long. I always thought Bill was extraordinary, and when I work with a writer whose music I love, I feel it in my gut, and Bill was one of those kind of people who wrote things that resonated in my gut.
How has the theater scene changed between those days and now?
Well, I don't really think it has changed, although it was new. He was a new voice then. When we did In Trousers, no one had ever heard anything like that before. So now there's lots of experimentation and lots of, left of center writing and people who are trying to push the envelope. Then it was different. It was Sondheim, and that was it, kind of, in musical theater. So I think it's changed in that there's more people willing to experiment.
And you made your Broadway debut in
Barnum.
Barnum.
Yes, I did.
Tell me about that. That's a circus show. I've never seen it.
Yeah. Well, I was actually working on March of the Falsettos, which was the second part of In Trousers, and I got called to audition, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And I think they hired me because I could sing. There was one black role in the show, and she had a very low number, and I think they hired me. I have very funny stories from Barnum, but we don't have time.
This is Terry White role, right?
Terry White,
role.
exactly. It was very low, and I could sing it. So I think that's why they hired me, but I literally didn't want to do it. I wanted to still be in March of the Falsettos, which was paying us $75 a week. And so when they hired me, I kind of had to, it was the first Art versus Commerce.
First of many, I'm sure.
Yes, that I had, and it was really awful. But I had to go with the Broadway show because I said, this is what you chose to do as a living, and you have to pay your bills. So it was horribly painful. And it turns out, it turns out that my character from In Trousers really had no place in March of the Falsettos. So it all worked out the way it was supposed to. But it was very painful.
But just to know, I don't want to bring up all your painful experiences.
I know.
Awful. But you have long relationships with people that you've worked with. You've worked with Bill Finn again and again.
Yes.
You worked with Michael John LaChiusa more than
who
once.
I adore. Michael John LaChiusa. I mean, Bill is not sort of having us do anything anymore.
Well,
He's kind of moved on to different territories. But Michael John is the kind of person and the kind of writer that I would drop everything for to work with. I love his stuff. I've done 5 of his shows. And it's the ultimate experience for me to work on his stuff.
It's so funny because you say you're a character actor, when you look at the range of stuff you've
Yes,
had a chance to do.
thank you very much.
It's such a wide range. I mean, I saw you play Barbara Bush.
Yes, you did.
I've seen you play Mama Morton. These are very different roles
I
in
know.
many ways.
And this year I've done 3, and I'm tired, but this year I've done 3 new plays. I did a play at the Rattlestick called Orange Julius that was a very naturalistic, simple, spare script, playing a mother who is taking care of a father who's dying of Agent Orange, a husband who's dying of Agent Orange. Then I did The Government Inspector, which was playing a character who was so deluded.
This is a cast of comedians.
Oh my
basically,
God. I mean,
with
she
Michael
just
Urie.
was so deluded, and it was period, so it was 1800s. And then this, which is another sort of interesting woman.
I don't want to say you steal the show in the Portuguese Kid, but you steal the show in the Portuguese
well,
Kid.
I do have a lot of zingers.
You do, and you have a little dance moment.
I have two dance moments now. One that John asked me to do, and I'm a good mover.
You are.
I'm a good mover. I'm not good learning choreography like at an audition.
This
really
wasn't choreographed.
fast.
This was like Mary.
No, this is me. I choreograph it every night. So I'm a good mover. So I have that, and then I have another moment that I dance in as well.
That must be fun. It looks like you're having a
It's
ball.
very
I don't
fun.
know if you
It's
are.
very fun. I am having a ball. I always have a ball.
You are so mean to Sherry Renee Scott.
No, I'm
It's
not.
wonderful.
No, I'm not. There's reasons for me to have
I'm
my
not saying it's
attitude.
undeserved. Look how upset she got. Oh my God. Well, Dale, we have questions from our
Oh,
Facebook
cool.
Live
I love
people.
that.
They have
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
love
things to
that.
say.
Is everybody like enjoying this?
No, they're miserable. They're just so
Okay.
miserable. They're crying.
Damn
They're
it.
all so sad about
I don't know what
Barnum.
camera to look at. Oh,
You can
hey.
Look at all of them.
The red light
at the red
camera.
light camera.
I should know that.
So first of all, Dale says, arrest Mary Testa. She steals every scene she's in.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Thank you.
How many Broadway shows have you done?
11 or 12?
Yeah. Do you have a favorite among those? I'm sure you've got some amazing stories.
I have hilarious
From the rink
stories from
alone.
some of them. Yeah, I got some good stories. I think my favorite is probably Marie Christine.
Really?
Yeah, because it was a beautiful show that was completely misunderstood.
Yeah.
And,
It was
again,
Audra
it's Michael
McDonald,
John.
Michael John Lacusa.
Yeah, and it was Graziella's work. Graziella's work is peerless, and she does not get the due that she deserves. And it's a joy to work with her. It's always an incredible artistic experience, and that was Marie Christine. We were in tech at Lincoln Center when they came and told us they were moving Contact into the Beaumont. We hadn't even started performances yet, so it was like, well, I guess. Okay, bye.
Fine if you want to.
Bye, wig. That's my new favorite thing to say. It's from the Housewives. Bye, wig. So,
We should incorporate that into every live
yeah.
from now
Bye,
on.
wig. Oh no, bye, wig. Yeah.
Very good. Alec is asking your dream role.
I've always wanted to do Kate in Taming of the Shrew.
I would love to
Not
see
the
that.
musical, the
play.
play. I've always wanted to do that because I feel like she should be older, and I've always wanted to do that, and I've not had the opportunity.
You want to play a shrew?
God, you know what? You're misinterpreting.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Elliot is asking, what sparks your creativity? That's an interesting question, Elliot.
It's an alchemy between the writer and the actors and the experience. And so when it's an open setting with people who are collaborative, I think that's what sparks my creativity.
You seem to have very, besides just the composers that you work with that we talked about, you seem to have long friendships in the theater, which I think is a wonderful thing. Like you were talking before we came on about Jonathan Freeman, who's a longtime friend
who I
of
adore.
yours. Yeah, so tell me a little bit about the community of actors that you're friendly
Well,
with.
it's funny. I'm sort of solitary, but I find whenever you work on a show, you become family with those people, and you may not ever see those people again, or you may see them next week, or you may see them in a few months or a few years, but you never forget that bond that you had with them, and you just kind of, when you see them again, pick up where you left off. And I love that about theater. I think that that's one of the greatest things about being an artist, because it is collaborative. Everyone's creativity depends on everybody in the room, and so I think that's the reason. I'm also a good person, and I'm an honest person. Jack Cummings calls me truth teller because I'm the person at rehearsal that will say everything that everybody's thinking.
That can be dangerous.
Yeah, but I can't.
As well as wonderful.
I don't have any other way of being. So yes, I think that's why I have long friendships, because people respect honesty, and I'm also loyal.
Were you always a performer, like when you were a child?
Yeah, I was one of those kids who would like entertain, company and stuff. But I never intended to be in musical theater. I decided to become an actor when I was a teenager because I was trying to decide between, this is a kind of a famous story that I tell all the time, law and theater. And I thought, law, I have to go to school so long. I think I'll be an actor. And that's how, I really made just a flip decision.
You have such a beautiful voice. When did you
Well,
know that
thank
you
you.
had a beautiful singing voice?
I have always sung. My mother was a singer, not professional, but she sang with me, and she'd just harmonize with me from when I was a little kid. And I have a great story. We lived across the street from a golf course. I was 8 years old. My mother went to the store. She said, I'm just going to the store. I'll be right back. So I was singing some big number in the house, and we were right across the street from a second tee off. And I finished big finish, and I heard applause. And across the street was and it was summer, so the windows were open. There were 20 men who were waiting to tee off. It was a busy golf course at the time, and they were applauding my big number.
And you were hooked.
And I was so freaked out. I sat under the window until my
So they
mother
couldn't see
came
you.
home. Yeah, so I kind of had an inkling then that maybe there was something there.
But I love that you were just giving yourself a big performance
Big,
at home by
but-
yourself.
Yeah, nobody was there, and I didn't think anybody was there. So yeah, it's funny.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a weird question. What? Tell us something about the knife at the Public, says Michael.
Oh my God! I just saw Dennis Parlato the other night at Michael John's premiere of Hello Again. It was a great group of people, and we thought it was a really interesting piece. But we did a number one time. We had this big serious number called "The Knife, the Knife, the Knife," and we'd all face out at the audience. And one guy stood up and screamed, "Rubbish!"
Oh my gosh.
And it was the first time that I actually went, "Oh my God, we're so vulnerable on
You're right
stage."
there.
Yeah, I know. It was David Hare, and I can't remember. It was Mandy Patinkin. It was based on the first. It was Jan. What's that woman's name? A man who turned into a woman, and it was based on a book called Conundrum. And we thought it was beautiful work, but the audience didn't.
So what did you do when that happened?
We
just kept going on.
Well, we had some really funny. It was a great group of people, and it was a delightful experience.
What are some of your other audience interaction moments that are memorable to you?
Oh God. I don't know. I can't
I don't know.
remember.
Doesn't
I'm
matter.
tired today, so it's hard
We're
to think. about
tired. We're
stuff.
working hard.
It's my
people.
day off, ladies and
We're working
gentlemen.
hard. Tell me what it's like for you to be directed by the writer.
Oh,
Which John
Shanley's-
Patrick Shanley
Yeah,
did.
he's an interesting guy. I mean, he knows what he wants, and he's not really your classic director in working from the inside out. He just kind of says, be loud, I got a note once.
You're gonna do
it
his
was
Bronx accent.
Yeah, I always do Shanley. He goes, I want that bigger. And so I said to the associate director, does he mean louder? And he goes, yes. I said, oh, okay.
I just need a little interpretation for
Yeah.
this one.
No, he was interesting. My character sort of stayed basically the same. Sherry and Jason, he rewrote it every single day. Sherry, Jason, Amy, and Pico had much more of different.
You were stable.
I was fairly stable, so I'd say, John, you don't need this line. And he'd actually listen to me, so.
I love that you do Shanley to Shanley.
I do shit. Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm an honest person, and I say what I say what everybody's thinking. I get away with it most of the time.
Are you recognized on the street very much?
Sometimes.
For which show? Because you have such breadth of work.
I was walking my dog the other day, and this man went, I love your work. I said, thank you. And it looked like shit. I had pajamas on. You know what I mean? Glasses.
he didn't say specifically.
Hair. No, he was just like, I love your work. And it's usually when I'm looking awful. It's always when I'm looking awful.
So then you can feel good inside.
Yes.
Just on the inside.
Yes.
It's really
It was lovely. I love that. I think that's really sweet. And most of the time it comes when I'm not feeling great. And I'm like, I could have, and then somebody will compliment you and you go, you know what, I'm doing okay.
Somebody will clap across a golf course
Yes,
and everyone
exactly.
feels better.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you could redo any of the shows that you've done, what would you want to revisit?
Queen of the Mist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous show. We did it 5-6 years ago, and then we did a concert version just last year, of the 5-year mark of it, because it was a beautiful show that was off Broadway, and of course not a lot of people saw it, but it was a show that was written specifically for me, from Michael John, gorgeous.
How special to have a
Gorgeous.
show written for you.
Yeah, it's pretty
specifically
special.
for your voice and for your talent.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when he writes for you too, he really tries you too. He doesn't give you easy. He gives you
He uses your full
huge,
range.
huge and hard.
He pushes you.
Yeah, which is great.
You have worked with so many people in this business. Is there anyone that you want to work with again that you've worked with before? And you have done that sometimes.
Yeah. You know, that's another difficult question to
Yeah.
answer because I do plays and musicals.
Yes. You're
So
lucky
I,
to be able to do both.
I feel like I know a lot of people, and I can't answer that because it's just too many. There's too many. I just really enjoy doing new work. So
You do so much new work, and you have such a range where you're able to do comedy and some very serious drama.
and I enjoy. Listen, you cannot be a good comedian unless you really understand drama. You can't. It's much harder to make people laugh than it is to make people cry. It's much harder.
It's harder to make people laugh.
You have to be you have to be, and I'm not like saying I'm great, but you have to. The greatest tragedians are no comedy. Look at Nathan Lane.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, he understands both.
Or you could just sing Evil Woman with Jackie Hoffman.
With Jackie, with the great Jackie Hoffman.
That was a wonderful moment in musical theater history, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
she's something else, that one. I love her very much. She's one of a kind. I think she's going to be a big star.
You think?
If she's going to make people let her be a big star.
She's an up-and-comer, that one.
She's gonna wrangle it somehow. I know that one.
What do you think is the most unusual role in your career? Because you've done some things where I'm like, oh, I forgot that Mary. That's why I said The Rink earlier, because you replaced
I was Liza
Liza
Standby,
Minnelli.
but I wasn't the original one. Lenora Nemetz was the original one.
the original Standby.
Yes. And then Lenora left, and I replaced Lenora. And then I ended up going on.
And Liza left the production.
Liza, that was at the time that Liza committed herself to the Betty Ford Center.
And you
so
took over the role.
I finished the last 2 weeks of her run, and then Starker Channing came in. And then the show closed soon after.
This is musical theater history, ladies and gentlemen. Pay attention.
Yeah. What was the question?
I'm just talking about some of the roles that you think were like unusual for you, or that were a stretch for you, or that you were excited that you got.
I did a short film called The Mother. I don't think it's been released, but it was in all the short film festivals. I actually won 4 Best Actress awards.
Wow.
It's this beautiful little film about mesothelioma. And I had worked with the director before, and it was the first time, really, for me on film that I had a character that had an arc. And it was magnificent to be able to do that on film. So I would say that,
Really?
even though that's not
Even though
theater.
you've done like 30 off-Broadway shows and a
Yeah.
dozen-ish Broadway shows.
I also, a long, long time ago, played the bear in A Winter's Tale for Soho
bear.
Rep at the theater on the grounds of Bellevue. I got good stories.
You have such good stories. I don't even know what to ask you to get
I
you to
know,
tell me
I
the
know.
next
Just
good story.
imagine.
The bear that obviously exit.
Pursued by a
Pursued
bear.
by a bear.
And I had
Very
worked with the
famous stage
director who
direction.
was a Brit who's no longer with us before. And he said, I'd love you to do the bear, and a bunch of other little things. And so I was like, okay, this was many, many years ago. So I thought, oh, he's giving me something. This is fantastic. This is going to be so interesting. I'm going to be able to come up with something. In a bear suit.
What? No.
In a bear suit.
In a bear suit
Now
on the
this
grounds
is another
of Bellevue.
Bellevue, and I had to enter from the back of the audience, so I had to go on the grounds of Bellevue in a bear costume. And his name was Anthony Bowles. That was his name, the director, and he was famous for opening a show and then going on vacation for 2 weeks and then coming back. And so I thought,
So you didn't get notes for 2 weeks, or?
well, my bear, because what I was supposed to do was pop up in the back of the audience. I would maul a few people, go up on the stage, and then exit, pursued by a bear. But what I turned it into was I'd get up on the stage, and the bear would notice that there was an audience, and then the bear would either do a soliloquy in bear or a
sing a
dance.
song, yeah.
Or something like that. And so when Anthony came back after 2 weeks, he was horrified at what it had become. And I said to
The
him,
bear show.
I guess you won't be putting me in a bear costume anymore, would you? Will you? Yeah. That's another one of my funny stories.
Oh my God, I've
Yeah.
never heard of anything like that. We are getting
That is my favorite Shakespeare, though. And I
What'd
would
you
love to
tell?
do Paulina someday.
but no bear.
I don't want to do the
No
bear.
bear.
I
We're
did
good.
it. Did it.
Yeah, that's checked off the bucket list. Thank you so much for coming.
I've had a
in.
great time. I love being interviewed. And thanks to all the people who are
Yes,
asking
thank
questions.
you, friends on Facebook Live. You guys, go see The Portuguese Kid at
more
Manhattan
weeks.
Theater Club. 2 more weeks. This woman steals the show. And we will see you tomorrow.
Bye.
You're out. Very nice.